Good day, everyone. My name is Carrie Banningala. I'm a regional sales director for Neptune Benson, and I'm speaking with you today to discuss the benefits of regenerative media filtration and UV disinfection for building a better and healthier pool facility. I'm pretty new to the aquatics industry. I've only been working with Neptune Benson for about a year and a half now, but I'm not new to aquatics itself, just new to the behind the scenes equipment. So I was a swim mom for many years, and I took my daughter Cameron to all of her meets, and I sat for hours on the bleachers cheering her on at different schools and community centers. And I always left those competitions smelling like a pool, even though I was never actually in the pool. And I always thought that was a good smell. I never really thought about the smell or the water quality back then. But now that I work for Neptune Benson, I do now. So we all know that sand filters have been in the mechanical room filtering pools for a long time. And Neptune Benson has been in the business since 1956, manufacturing these beastly tanks to provide that water filtration. Sand filters can filter particulates down to about the 20 to 30 micron level. Now, to give you an idea of what a micron looks like, the human eye can see 40 microns and above. Well, cryptosporidium is a bacteria that causes waterborne illnesses. And that's only about 5 microns, about the size of the blood cell that you see on the slide. So if there's a buildup of crypto, sand filtration can't do much to stop the spread. So unfortunately, this can result in closing your facilities to shock your pools so that you can kill the crypto. Well, there must be a better way, right? So Neptune Benson started looking for a better form of filtration and found that in regenerative media filtration, or RMF. So this is far more effective than sand and filtering out crypto. It can filter down to 1 micron, as you can see on the chart on the right side of the slide. So the Defender was then created. So this much smaller filter takes up a lot less space in the mechanical room versus a sand filter. Not only does it use less space, it uses less of everything. Less water, less energy, less chemicals. And we've been installing Defenders in larger facilities for years now. We recently added this little guy next to the bigger tank to our line. This is the Defender FP series for smaller facilities with flow rates under 300 gallons per minute. But all Defenders use perlite media instead of sand for filtration. So perlite's basically a volcanic rock that's ground into a powder-like substance for filtering purposes. It's very porous, and what I mean by that is that it is super absorbent. So remember when I said that sand filters can filter down to 20 to 30 microns? Well, the Defender using this perlite media can filter down to just 1 micron. So we do have choices for filtering our water, and we already know there's a big difference between sand and RMF when it comes to the level of filtration, but there's another big difference when it comes to the environment. Sand filters require regular backwashing. So you're draining hundreds of gallons of water out of the tank, filling it back up to loosen debris, then draining hundreds of gallons of water again, all dirty, heading into the sewer system. So we're talking thousands of gallons of water being kind of wasted on a regular basis. Well, with regenerative media filtration, we have the ability to keep the same water flowing through the filter, and the perlite media captures the debris on the flex tubes. Here's the beauty of the flex tubes and the perlite. Once the perlite becomes saturated with debris, on one side, it's bumped off the flex tubes, settles onto the bottom of the tank, and then gets recoated back onto the flex tubes on the other side. So it's kind of like flipping a pancake. And it still has room to pick up debris and keep filtering. It will come time to change the perlite and clean the filter, but you're only draining about 300 gallons of water out of that tank, not thousands. So you're saving not only water, but the chemicals that treat the water and the energy that heats the water. This method is definitely a win for the environment, and it's also a win for your operational budget. So remember earlier I talked about smelling like a pool in my swim mom days. Well, I was actually shocked to learn that your pool should not smell like a pool. Why not? Well, maybe you already know this, but I certainly didn't. The pool smell is really a combination of bodily secretions and chlorine that's used to disinfect the pool. And the combination creates chloramines. Well, these little chloramines replicate over and over again, and this creates a really strong gas and that strong odor that you smell. So when you're breathing the air, whether you're a spectator or a swimmer, this actually can lead to respiratory issues, that red eye that you see a lot of swimmers have, and even skin irritation. There is a great solution to take care of this. The smell, the nasty chloramines, and it's in the form of ultraviolet disinfection. Neptune Benson has this little guy who's sitting right here next to the Defender, and he's called the Waiver UV to use in conjunction with your filtration system. The technology behind UV is based on the inactivation of chloramines, meaning it doesn't really kill the chloramines altogether, but it does stop the little buggers from replicating. So as the microbes complete their lifespan and they die off, there are less and less of them to produce the irritating off gases that I always thought was a good pool smell. All of this takes place as the water flows through the system of UV lamps, and when UV is used in combination with RMS filtration, you will be looking at crystal clear water filtered down to 1 micron. And you're enjoying that improved air quality by getting rid of that pool smell and those chloramines, which all points to the ultimate protection against waterborne illness and more pleasant guest experience for everyone. So finally, to wrap it up, I want you to take a look at a couple pictures here. It shows 2 different ways to filter your pool. If these 2 pools were right next to each other, which one would you want to swim in? In all fairness, these are not actually side-by-side pools, so you might not even think about it. But here, these are actually side-by-side pools. One, on the right, has a sand filter, and the other one recently upgraded to the Defender FP RMF filter. That one's on the left. I think the choice is pretty clear. So I know this was a really brief overview of these technologies, and if you're interested in any more information or even a cost savings analysis where we can compare the benefits of RMF versus sand, we would love to hear from you. So I hope you enjoyed this informative and educational presentation, and I really thank you so much for listening.